I asked my viewers what they would add to RuneScape if it could be literally anything. It doesn't have to make sense in terms of the balance of the game. I just wanted to hear ideas you probably came up with as a child that you thought would be epic. And in this video, I'm gonna bring some of them to life with the help of two very talented animators. Let's get started. William P said horses. So, what would that look like? I guess the first question is, where would you put them? Maybe you have to go pick it up from a stable where it grazes? That would probably have to be instanced so that there aren't thousands of horses clustered together in a field. Maybe kind of like player-owned houses. Then obviously riding it would be faster than running, maybe up to 50% faster, but maybe there's even a horse master skill, and you have to level up your horse to make it faster and have more stamina. At first it walks slower than you can run, and can only walk for a short period of time. You could either level up the skill or level up the horse itself by feeding and watering it, cleaning its pen, and obviously riding it around. To be honest though, it looks kind of wrong for a player to be riding a horse around Lumbridge. I feel like this whole area of the map is just too small and has human-sized paths. Plus there are obstacles everywhere. Imagine like dozens of players on horses. It might look cool, but it would probably be very clustered. I think a much better area for them would be on Zaya. We all know this continent is massive, and running around it takes forever. You could even add a new area to Zaya that has a whole backstory of the horse masters and no teleports in it, so you have to use your horse to get around. Maybe it's just an activity and not a whole skill. But there'd be a huge horse ranch where you originally go to get your horse, and stables near most major cities so that you could park it there while you're visiting the city. On Zaya, I don't think the area would get too cluttered at all, even with lots of players riding horses. There's just so much space on this continent. Alright, let's make this more epic. What if you could actually fight other players or monsters on horseback? First, maybe you could smith horse armor, but it would take a lot of metal bars, so the price of ore or bars would go up a lot. Maybe you could even get trimmed horse armor from clue scrolls. Here's a version of like a proselyte horse armor, which I think looks really good. The rune looks really nice, and mainly just because it looks too good not to show. Maybe you could even combine a fire cape with a type of horse armor, or complete the fight caves on horseback to get like a fire horse armor version. And the same goes with the Inferno. This horse model with infernal armor looks insanely good. Alright, so horses have armor, but what weapons can you use on horseback? Well, we already have a couple lances in game, but what if we actually had a full set of lances that you could use on horseback? Kinda like jousting. Whether it was a jousting minigame, or you could use it in PvP, or I think Clan Wars would be a great option. By the way, this dragon lance looks awesome. We even have a salamander lance model. Let's put this all together in a Clan Wars environment and see what it looks like. Now we've all seen what a horse would probably look like in game. Let's go to the next idea. This might be my favorite one, and you'll see why. What if there was an island that botters' profiles kind of saved to once they were banned? The botter doesn't exist in game anymore, but its information is still saved, and it appears almost like an NPC now on the island. Players would be able to take a ship to visit the island, and when they get there, they would see all of the bots that they had reported that were subsequently banned. The idea is to give players some satisfaction of seeing which accounts actually got banned from their reports. I mean, just imagine you report some accounts you think are suspicious, you visit the island the next day, and you find 4 maxed out bots that you got banned. Then you walk off the island and can go around one-hitting the bots. Maybe the bots explode in a shower of the items they had in their bank, or maybe you just get an interface that pops up and shows you everything that they had in their inventory equipped and their bank account when they were banned. Every once in a while you catch a much higher level bot that has really good loot on them, like Rune and Dragon. Now, is this worth the devs' time? Probably not. Would it be super cool and potentially encourage a lot of in-game reports? Definitely. Maybe the accuracy of your reports factors in as well to discourage spam reporting. That would probably help out Jagex's anti-cheating team. You could even turn this into a mini-game. Let me ask you a question. How many RuneScape accounts do you have? Do you use the same password for all of them? And do you also use that password for your email, social media accounts, and the dozens of other accounts you've probably created across the internet? That would mean if just one of these sites had a leak, all of your accounts across the internet would be compromised. And these data breaches happen all the time. But it's pretty difficult to remember 20 different secure passwords, which is why I'd recommend you sign up for NordPass, the password manager. NordPass creates a unique, highly secure password for each of your accounts, stores it securely, and autofills it when you want to log in. This includes storing your credit card and personal details, which will also autofill when you check out online. NordPass also syncs your credentials across up to 6 of your devices, so you don't need to type your passwords in when you get a new phone, for example. Finally, NordPass is a zero-knowledge password manager. Even the NordPass team can't see what's in your encrypted vault. So get an exclusive NordPass deal plus 1 additional month for free at nordpass.com/sirpugger or use code sirpugger at checkout. If you don't end up enjoying the product, NordPass has a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks to NordPass for sponsoring this video. Elijah says, the ability to put construction furniture anywhere in the house, like The Sims. I am all for more player-owned house customization, and this seems like a completely reasonable update. Being able to rotate and move furniture around to customize each room instead of having placeholder objects that you can just fill, which is how you can currently build objects in the house. That alone could make for a lot of variation in player customization, and it would just make it more interesting to visit other people's houses. Right now, most houses are basically copies of each other with just different room orientations. Why don't we take this idea to the absolute extreme though? What if you could buy an empty field? It would be just like buying a player-owned house, but there's no house, no objects to fill, no nothing there. But you could actually place individual bricks and individual walls to make a completely customized structure. Something a little bit similar to building in Minecraft. Now, building these structures would be pretty expensive just given general material costs. There'd be all sorts of building materials. You could even smelt down like 10 rune bars to make a rune block if you wanted to make whole walls out of runite and show off how much money you had. You'd be able to craft windows and doors and place them wherever you wanted to. And one of the general points would be that it would take time and effort and lots of gold to make a good looking structure. The more difficult it is, the more satisfying it is. Obviously, you'd also have to create lots of new items just to be able to make windows and doors and place them, etc. But if you gave the player base control of building whatever they wanted in these fields, there'd be some absolutely incredible creations, and it'd be so fun to visit other players' plots of land to see what they've built. Maybe you could even expand the area that you bought and build whole cities that people could visit. I think it's very powerful in a game to give players the ability to hyper customize an area or even almost generate their own content. I mean, I've been showing you structures like houses and castles, but if you could pay to expand your field and build whatever you wanted, and Jagex built out great tools to let you hyper customize the area, seriously, who knows what would be built? Other than, of course, a massive QP. I think an incredibly cool addition to this would be to own the deed to the property that you've built, and that deed would be tradable. Obviously, the player who owns it would set the price if they wanted to sell the property. Once they set their property for sale, other people could visit it even without the player there to tour the property and see if they wanted to purchase it. If someone built a large castle, maybe that goes for billions of gold, and they could sell it to a rich player who doesn't have the time or skills to build as cool of a home. At the very least, it would create a very interesting marketplace for real estate within the game. Final idea for POHs, and this is a bit separate to the other ideas, but so many people have collections of different items. What if there was a room in your house that you could dedicate to a collection of a single item? The only thing in the room in the middle would be a placeholder for any item that you could put down. So for example, with dragon longswords, maybe you need to put 10 dragon longswords down to have just one show up, and put 1,000 down to have 100 show up. I think it'd be a really entertaining way of showing collections of items, and again, make it more interesting to visit random people's houses. Jim had an idea: add spiked cannonballs, letting people use dart tips on balls to increase damage by 3 to 5. Let's see what this would look like. There are dart tips for most metals, so you could have bronze spiked cannonballs, iron, steel, mithril, adamant, The rune ones look really good in my opinion. And of course, you could even have amethyst spiked cannonballs and dragon spiked cannonballs. Some of these would be incredibly expensive to make, like dragon dart tips are 2.8k each. So maybe each level of dart tip increases damage of the cannonball by 1. That would mean rune cannonballs hit up to 38, and then maybe amethyst goes up by 2 damage to 40, and then dragon cannonballs hit 40 to 45. Sounds pretty OP though. I guess you would have to get smithing XP for this, or maybe smithing and crafting. It would definitely be an interesting use case of dart tips. Might make ores or metal bars a little bit more expensive as well. You'd also need a required range level to use each type of cannonball. I feel like a level 3 using dragon cannonballs to hit 45s would be insanely overpowered. It would probably follow the same pattern of what players currently need to wield each type of dart. Other than it being maybe a little bit overpowered, I really like it. Pab says rework the firemaking skill by making all caves require torches that last longer depending on the wood used and have a wider spread of brightness by the specific oil used made through herb lore. I think you get the idea, but the biggest point here is anything underground would require a light source that would only illuminate a certain number of tiles around you. We do have caves that require light sources now, but when you use a light source in them, basically the tint of your screen just gets lighter. The other possibility could be to integrate some sort of firemaking into bosses. Not so much like Wintertodd, but take a boss underground like the Nightmare, for example. Maybe you travel with a torch through a completely dark crypt, and then when you get to the boss, you actually have to go around lighting up the room so that you can see during the boss fight. Little things like that would really make firemaking feel a lot more useful. Of course, this would really change the current vibe of exploring a dungeon or slaying in a cave. I don't think it would be reasonable to change the lighting mechanics of all current caves, but maybe a cave in a future update requires more firemaking to explore it. One pretty out there idea is if you did have a cave that required you explore using torches, maybe it's instanced and a set of monsters randomly spawn throughout it, so you actually don't know what you're about to come across. You'd probably need to reward the player for doing this, maybe with just slightly better drop tables, because I'm guessing the player's efficiency would definitely go down. If you'd like to see an idea you had for something in game brought to life, comment on this video for the next episode. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. This video was literally months and months in the making. And the two very talented animators behind all of the animation you've seen in this video are Uber and Trillion. Their Twitter links and portfolios are in the description for you to check out. If you do appreciate this kind of content and want longer videos showcasing more ideas, please consider either clicking the thanks button at the bottom of the video or becoming a channel member. You can join for as low as $2 a month by clicking join on the homepage of my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.